Your code has Git, your data has what? Exactly. That's the problem. One bad CSV, one config row, one spreadsheet edit, and now your app is broken. There's no clean diff, no branch, pull request, no obvious rollback. This is Dolt. It's a SQL database that works just like Git. You can branch tables, edit rows, diff changes, commit them, and merge them back. Actual version control for actual data. I'll show you how to spin this up and how to get it going in the next couple minutes. Now, we know most of the time databases are great at what? Being databases. They store data, they let you query with SQL, but they are not great at the workflows we use every day, which is branching, reviewing, diffing, merging, rolling back, seeing exactly who changed what. So oftentimes we pick one of two bad options. Option one is you keep the data in a real database, you get SQL, indexes, constraints, and structure, but when the data changes, the review process is usually not quite there. Then option two is we put the data in a CSV, JSON, or YAML so Git can actually track it. Now you get commits and pull requests, but you lose things databases are actually good at. No real SQL, weak schema enforcement, painful diffs and merges, and when someone asks, who changed this record? Well, the answer is basically going to be the same. Someone with database access. That's not any kind of real workflow. But now imagine this instead. What if you could run a branch command? Dolt branch, fix this data. Dolt diff, dolt commit, dolt merge. Now, these are commands we're already using, but we're using them against your actual database tables. That's what Dolt is doing. It's version control for our databases. If you enjoy coding tools to speed up your workflow, be sure to subscribe. We have videos coming out all the time. Enough talking, we have options. There's Dolt for SQLite, Postgres, you name it. Let's do the fast version of this. I'm gonna CD in here and I'm gonna clone the Dolt hub getting started from GitHub. I'll CD into the folder. Now first clone a public Dolt database, and I'm gonna run Dolt SQL. Now we are inside SQL, so I can run SQL commands right here in the terminal. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make a small change, and we're gonna run Dolt diff. And this is the first, wait, what just happened here kind of moment. Dolt does not say some file changed. It shows the actual table diff. Which row changed, which column changed. The old value and the new value I can see right here. Now we can commit that. So Dolt add, then I can run Dolt commit M. I'll drop in a comment. I can create an entire branch of this by using checkout, and we'll just run checkout B, name your branch. If I make another change on top of this, I can diff it again with Dolt diff. I can commit it again, and then I can add it again. Now, if I jump back and merge, I can check out main and I can run Dolt merge. All these commands we already know. We're just doing this now with SQL. At the end, you could run Dolt log. Now your database has a commit history, not a backup, not a dump file, and not some spreadsheet edit log. A real version database, that's the whole core idea here. Git workflows, but for tables. Now let's pull back everything and see how all this actually works. At first, Dolt feels familiar on purpose. You have commands like Dolt status, diff, add, commit, branch, checkout. If you know Git, your brain already understands the shape of this entire workflow they're going for. Dolt is not tracking files, it's tracking relational tables. You can use it from the command line, or you can run Dolt SQL Server. By doing that, you can now connect it using MySQL compatible clients, ORMs, BI tools, or application code. So your app can treat Dolt like a normal SQL database, but you get version control around the data. That's the important part. You're not choosing between a real database and a Git workflow. You get both in the same place. Dolt uses something called Prolly tree. The easy version of Prolly tree here is a normal database uses tree-like structures to make reads and writes fast. Dolt uses a tree-like structure that is also good at versioning. So instead of copying the whole database every time you commit, Dolt can share the parts that stayed the same and track the parts that actually changed. Now we're not just asking things like, hey, what's the current value? We can actually ask things like, what did this row look like before something happened? That's the big thing here. Because when something breaks, we don't want to have to guess. You want to inspect the history. I can now review the diff. You can see the change, and if needed, you can roll back. This is version control for structured data. Your branches, commits, diffs, merges, histories for rows and columns. So where does Dolt actually fit into the flow of things? Because this all sounds great, but this is where it might get confusing. You might hear Git for data, and you're probably thinking, okay, well, look, we already have tools for that. Yes, we kind of do have tools for those, but they solve different problems. You can put CSVs and JSON files in Git that works when the data is tiny and simple. Git doesn't understand your schema, it doesn't know your primary key, and it's not going to enforce constraints. It can't run joins on your CSV unless you add more tools. So Git gives you version control, but it's not really for a database. Then there's DVC. DVC is great for ML workflows, especially large data sets and model artifacts, but it's not trying to be your live relational database. Yes, you have lakeFS. That brings Git-like ideas to object storage and data lakes. Very useful at lake scale, but again, that's an entirely different layer. It's not the same thing as saying branch this SQL table, change some rows, run a diff, and merge it back. Traditional databases also have history tools, temporal tables, audit logs, CDC, but most of them don't feel like a normal workflow. They don't give you the clean loop, branch, change, diff, merge, rollback. I wouldn't blindly drop Dolt into every production system. That's not the point here. The point is this: if your work involves structured data that changes over time, and those changes can actually break things, I think Dolt is worth trying. The first time it saves you from one silent bad data change, the workflow starts to feel a bit more obvious. We have Git, why don't we have something for data? Now we kind of do. If you enjoy coding tools like this, be sure to subscribe to the Better Stack channel. We'll see you in another video.